Hi strangers! Want to share my saga with you. My name is Sherry Lightning and I'm an author of a saga Parody Smells Like Bergamot. Want to read for you first chapter. And if you like it, you may buy it on Buy Me a Coffee. Enjoy! The appeal to an English language listener. Dear listener, want to tell you something very important. As the author of this saga and a translator, I think that I should translate this all by myself. I have been started to translate my book because I'm damn sure that nobody can translate my story as I am, even if he or she knows English better than me, because I'm the author of this saga. I close my eyes to the fact that I was a class student and a bad philology student. I want to take this challenge and to translate the saga. So if you know English better than me, I'm sorry in advance for my ignorance. Sincerely, Cherry Lightning. Permanent Halloween. Frozen fingers, frozen puddles. The ground freezes under the icy rain. The spicy perfumes give her cuddles. In her backpack is the remarks book again. An umbrella hides her face from passers-by. Her hair is azure on the tint of colorful trees. Have you seen her? Whom she does look like? The girl is on the run. She can hear a moan of the beast. More than one treasure was hidden in the backpack, for example the Aleister Crowley deck of tarot cards. The bride entered a quiet night hill to avoid the beast's attack. It's time for new era, for a new era, the old one ends. Cherry Lightning, the Fall and the Tower. A female student from Ukrainian province was listening to night scenes in headphones, the song Fantasy 21 on her way home. The girl was reading a book that her friend has given to her, and in order not to be disturbed by extraneous noises, she listened to music. This girl felt like a heroine of a horror movie from the 80s, and the freshman girl was dressed according to the fashion of that time. She was wearing a black beret and her long curly hair. A scarf was also black. The girl's hair was a shade of dark chestnut, her natural color, and she dyed to Stan's blue. The coat was long, at a seat drap, and with shoulders as it was fashionable in the 80s. A black leather skirt, a master's chunky knit sweater and tights of the same color with a small leopard print. On her feet were leather black biker boots with rivets. The backpack on her lap was also made of drap with a red and black Scottish print. The makeup on her was gothic, as some say. She imitated all the style of the 80s, and even though the girl did not her makeup as colorful as Susan Sibelian from the band Susie and the Bunches, because she because still According to the student, you won't go to a university like that. But for knowledgeable people it was clear whom she was inspired by. The girl entered a little after classes. Together with her fellow students, she decided to appear into a pub. She drank only a glass of red wine. In that pub they always played rock and roll music. That pub really had a soul in it, and it was not even about the interior. It was about the fact that that establishment has a special aura, inward, so to speak. Her bartender friend gave her an old and battered uh, book that night, so the girl ended up the evening with two books in her hands. The first is Remarque's book game, and an early work of the artist, which she bought by herself and has been reading for several days. And the gift is the original in the original language of the 1978 edition, Dracula. The student was very grateful to the bartender because she was wanted to read Dracula for a long time. The bartender guessed 100% with his gift. Arriving at the right stop, the girl did not even notice that he has had to leave soon. So she read the book. The student almost always read books on the way to the university and back. She was lucky that her stops were always final, so she never missed the right one. The minibus took her to the final station when it was already dark. There was no one except her and a driver in the cabin, at least from the people. The streets were also dark and desolated. The golden autumn has long gone since a while. It ended its raging in this place. It was the middle of November. Halloween has already passed, but for this dark-haired girl it never ended. Having hidden a vintage Bram Stoker book in her backpack, the girl got off the bus. Immediately the cool air washed over her with its refreshing wave. The wind, like a young cat, played with the fallen leaves at her feet while she was walking. The wind was cunning. The wind was alive. She liked fall. She always waited after the end of the one to the beginning of the next fall. Everything that represents autumn, or almost everything, caused a feeling of euphoria and aesthetic satisfaction in the female student. The smell of fall, autumn rain, autumn clothes, beginning of study time, fallen leaves, autumn gardens, park, forest, Halloween. It is a real magic, at least for Angela. Next to her walked four shadows that only she could see. The shadows bore name of Satan, saga, Samuel, and Belial. They looked like human silhouettes woven from black mist, with shining star instead of eyes, and a shining crescent moon instead of mouth. One upon a time, Once upon a time, she created them, but then she could not even think that her fantasy would begin to live an independent life. Sometimes having a rich imagination is bad for your mental health. The song in her headphones played to the end. Angela turned to next one, to the next. Angela turned to the next one. It was in her playlist Led Zeppelin No Quarter. The creature that accompanied the students silently walked by. The girl kept thinking, who are they really? Are they those they pretend to be? The elite of hell? Are they their servants, which came to joke? They came and still won't leave. Are there any of them at all? Or is it her vivid, unhealthy imagination? Is she rich? Is she possessed? Or she just insane? Angela remembered one incident from her childhood, gigantic, and gigantic as it seems to her at that time, a wooden cross painted in blue, the cross near the school. When she was a pupil of an elementary school, she asked her mother why there was a giant wooden cross at the school entrance, and the mother answered that they wanted to build a church on this place where the school is now, but they didn't because the priest said that there was a lot of wishes in the village, and the place for a church, as the priest said, should be holy. So what? Thought the student. Are there really many wishes here? Or is it just a superstition and the remnant of past ages? The streets of the village seems to have died out. The muffled and warm glow of flickering lanterns, almost bare trees, fallen autumn leaves, frozen fingers, the frost that pinches the cheeks, the wind which is sly as a cat, and darkness, sometimes depressing, sometimes mesmerizing, and the children of darkness, who are always there. Indeed, thought the girl, every day is Halloween. On this thought, Belial overtook Angela and turned face to face with her, of course if he had one. Walking with his back to the front, the most glorious angel of the inferno smiled at the freshman girl. Yeah, the student continued her train of thought. It seems to be like Dario Argento wrote the script of this evening. God forbid a Lucia Forci script, Burial laughed. Pooh, 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 Angela said in her voice. Do you remember what he was called? Applied was saga to Angela. Next, Doug once together with the girl mentally said at the same time, Godfather of Gore. God save the student continued her thoughts. He was nicknamed for the brutal to the extreme scenes in his horror films, Samuel said. I know it, answered the girl mentally. Well done! A plus for your erudition, Brilliant. You are a fragment of my imagination. You know what I know, Angela thought nervously. And if I don't know it, you wouldn't know it either. That's all. Topic closed. The girl smoked her favorite brand of cigarettes. It started to rain lightly. Angela hid under an umbrella. Meanwhile, the evil that was next to her did not think to hide. So what? Asked Satan. If you cannot change something, change your attitude towards it. You does not exist. Go away, Angela Marienko thought. Enjoy those Halloween vibes, he continued, because I'm not going anywhere. And whether you like it or not, Saga continued for his brother, you are a witch, the real one, and you have a dark soul, Samuel said sadly.
After that, the dark ones fell silent. The girl walked the rest of the way, listening to music and thinking about everything. Angela Marienko, a 17 years old philology student, has long dreamed of becoming a writer. Almost all her life, even when she could not write, Angela wanted to create words, stories, and fill these words, heroines and heroes, and adventures without which her heart could not live. Walking in the darkness, which was torn apart by lanterns with the light, walking through the familiar outskirts of the village near the city where Angela studied, walking along a strange road when it was drizzling rain, walking with a clouded consciousness, clouded in such a way which only happened to psychopaths. As she walked, the student could feel the flow of time. She could feel the centuries. She could feel the years. She could feel the months. She could feel the days. She could feel the hours, minutes. She could feel the seconds to the touch. If time is so thick that you can touch it. The girl felt as infinity is an ocean and eternity is the abyss into which this ocean flows. And the students walk along to the bottom of this deep ocean, and every drop of water, every grain and of sand in the ocean of infinity is a second of life, and time is a rapid stream that carries these drops of water and these grains of sand from the future to the past. From these grains of sand and drops, minutes of life, hours, day are formed. They are an integral part of life. They are life. Sometimes she had such a state as she felt the movements of heavenly bodies that are close to the earth, and sometimes the girls felt like the movement of the planet Earth, how we all fly through the cosmic night. Also, Angela felt by the touch autumn. The student felt all this in the same way as her skin felt the raindrops were falling now. All the same time, despite everything, the girl did not use any substance that clouded the consciousness. It was normal for her to feel like this, walking seamlessly in the dimension of people and the otherworldly dimension of spirits, walking the road to home as if in the wonderland, as if in afterlife, in this world and in other worlds at the same time. She saw this world and other worlds through the eyes of shadows that accompanied her since she was a child, and these shadows was everything through, and these shadows saw everything through the eyes of this girl. They seemed to be one. These shadows felt her pain and sadness. These shadows felt her joy and her inspiration. These shadows felt her love. These shadows, whose names were Satan, Vasago, Belial, and Samuel, felt everything that the girl feels. And the student, like them, felt everything that they feel, because the angel allowed it to the girl. When Satan wept and Belial joked and laughed. She felt She wept and laughed with their shadows. When Samuel was sad and Vasago was showing his temper, the girl felt what these angels felt, as if they were one, and no words needed to be said. Everything was clear anyway. Someone saying, "Some may not agree with me," Angela thought, "but we are all united, everyone with each other, and we are all at the same time as and separately, simultaneously, all and together. That is why angels, no matter what they are, with white wings or with dark feathers, that is why they are not profitable for them to make people suffer, because they not only read their thoughts, but they also feel that what way person feel what the person feels. As Hemingway said, "Do not ask for whom the bell tolls, it tolls for you." That is why the dark ones taught me. That's what the dark ones taught me. They may not exist, but they have always taught me wise lesson. But they have always taught me wise lessons. Because it's one thing to need because it's one thing to read it, and quite another to experience it yourself. Since childhood she has seen spirits from folklore, mermaids and mermen on floats, Lisovich in the depths of the forest near the village, demons, ghosts, angels, and other creatures from the other world. Once she even saw a Mohawk in the forest. It was when she and her class went to a camping trip to cook porridge in late spring. Mojave is a spirit that lives in moss and confuses random travelers. He looked like a tiny old man in dark green brown clothes. He was playing with the big red butterfly. As soon as Mojave realized that Angela saw him, he immediately ran away. And now she saw in the dark sky above her planetniks. They are also sometimes called cloud dwellers. These are cloud demons in Slavic mythology. They just drag the clouds across the sky, covering the stars and the moon with them. She has seen planetniks since childhood. How they graze the clouds, breathe rainy weather. That evening they nodded to her in greeting. They talked to her. These were local spirits. All of the above listed and even more, Angela called herself my otherworldly neighbors. Thanks to the music, and also thanks to this dark and cool evening, Angela plunged into her fictional universe. In fact, she has never got off it. It was her life, her imaginary kingdom, her universe. It was somehow gothic, dark, frightening, and powerful. Once you get into this universe, there will not be turning back, and she knew it. When she reached the gate of her house, she started looking for the keys. A young cat named Yarapolk and an old dog nicknamed Vulcan heard that the lady of the house had returned. Yarapolk ran out to meet Angela. He rubs against his mistress' legs. The Vulcan barked happily. After some time, the gate opened. Angela went into the yard. The cat and Shadows came with her.
The student lighted her cigarettes again. The end of autumn, she thought. The aroma of the perfume Valimois, a gift of my older sister, is so autumnal, at least for me. Woof, woof, it was calling to her. Homemade wine, glowing cat eyes. Homemade wine is waiting for me. Frost, meow meow. She heard frozen puddles, frozen ground. The ground is frozen and moist at the same time. Does it happen? Frozen fingers, wind, cold wind, predatory wind. A house in the stirrups drawing in unkempt fallen leaves, which fall during the day, when no one was at home. A house in damp fallen leaves. Pumpkins on the step of the house. Pumpkins of different sizes, round, pear-shaped, yellow and orange pumpkins. Cigarette smoke, none so nice and familiar. Pumpkins from our own garden. Just pumpkins, not decorated with anything, as if by nature. Pumpkins in raindrops. Pumpkins. Pumpkins in yellow and brown leaves. Pumpkins on the porch steps. Pumpkins. Halloween. Satan. Satan in a Satan's costume. Led Zeppelin song on repeat. Halloween that passed. A Halloween that will never pass. My own Halloween. Permanent Halloween. Angela, he called her. It does not exist. Go away. The end of autumn. What a pity. The end of love. The student could feel time running with her whole body. Her favorite time was coming to an end. Autumn. She was in the time stream, and the rain kept dropping and dropping. Interesting, she thought. I am standing now and hardly moving, and I stand under the cover of night, and our planet Earth flies through the eternal night. I move and don't move at the same time. Do such trips come from the one glass of bread? Or as Salvador Dali said, I don't use drugs. I am the drug itself. And one has nothing to do with it. Night. Listen to them. The children of the night. What a music they make. Children of the night. Hmm. Children of the night. Children of the night and their music. Bram Stoker is a real master. That's exactly what they are. Sophisticated, aesthetic. I love classic horrors, so to speak. Meanwhile, the creatures of darkness who were with the girl echoed the quote from the Dracula that the girl remembered. Some of them repeated in a whisper as an echo, and some louder. Angela turned on the Melvin song she will. It's perfect for tonight, like Zeppelin's song No Quarter. Then the students thought, I will play the song of Nirvana, something in the way, and their cover of the song Oh Me by the band Meat Puppets. For me, this playlist is perfect. It just suits to my mood. She started scrolling through the playlist, looking over it. She will no quarter, something in the way, Oh Me, Lullaby by The Cure, Planet Caravan by the Black Sabbath, oddest songs ever, BMC Half State, and the song May Never Be. Creature the Atom Brain is that lady Sniff. Chris Isaac, Harp-shaped world, warm as green, you're too late, Satan. Type O negative, Christian woman, Tears for Fears, head over heels. Maybe I will also listen the song of type negative black number one. When I get to the house, I will connect to the player and I will listen these tones and I will listen to these songs too. Oh, I know. I will listen to Nirvana's 1993 MTV's concert vinyl. Thanks God I have this vinyl. These songs are real charms. Audio, magic. A family's infinity, stored deep inside me. I used to hear not stored deep inside me, but storm deep inside me. Storm deep inside me. The storm is deep inside me. These songs also considered by some of my friends light rock, but for me it is not so. For me these are dark, lingering, and violent and mystic, all the all the inside of the song. I feel its infinity that is stored deep inside me. It's so poetic. She looked at the watch. 1911. This is no longer easy rock. Not at all. It's like a quagmire. A quagmire in which I'm drowning, and I don't want to be rescued. So I'm addicted to this music. For me it is medicine. To me it's spellbinding, magic, the kind of superstition, pity I relate to these songs. One music critic said that BMC put the balls back in music. How I adore their rock. Their cover, their cover to this era is simply incredible. That's what sex sound like to me. I wanna do bad things with you. BMC sing like real children of the night, but BMC song Fireworker isn't. But BMC song Fireworker fit the vibes of this evening better. I'll add it to the playlist too. Her playlist included more than 300 compositions in this style and lasted almost 9 hours. And the girl added and added new ones. Suddenly coming closer to the threshold, Angela saw a snail on the Angela saw a snail on one of the pumpkins. Interesting, she thought. Why is it here? Don't they hibernate underground? It's already too cool for them. Snails, snails. I remember one horror movie with a giant mother snail. And where are snails? Snails of different sizes. Such a vile film. Modern horrors are not a pleasure. They are they eat people. I still needed to feed Yaropolk and Vulcan. They were alone from the very morning. With thoughts about horror movie, the girl remained under the cover of the dark autumn sky. Coming closer to the porch, Angela saw that what she took for a snail was a small fallen leaf. It stuck to the pumpkin. Finishing her cigarette, she threw the butt into an old and rusty coffee can, which was intended for this purpose. Angela hid the fact that she smoked from the elders, and the can was hidden in the yard so no one saw it. No one of the people knew about the existence of this bank. The student entered the house, the cat and shadows entered with her. The house is full of infernal creatures, thought the girl. The witch's house. The house is full of devils. A witch, her cat, and living shadows. Well, for sure, everything is like in the movies. The house of Angela's family was built in 1969, an iconic year for all rock and roll fans. For there, I think you know what I'm talking about, and the iconic year in the history of cosmonauts. However, Angela's grandparents did not like rock and roll music, and they were not very interested in fights into space and in general the space race between the States and the Soviet Union. For them, 1969 was the year of completion of work of their family nest, the building Angela's family now calls home. One of Angela's relatives jokingly called this house estate, and Angela herself called it the witch hut or the witch's lair. Mother, stepfather, and older sister worked together to renovate this building when Angela was in school. They tied a ribbon around of what her parents left for Angela's mother. The house was small, clean, and tidy. Three bedrooms, kitchen, bathroom, dining room, and so on. It had everything we needed and even more. Although the house had a modern revelation, there was many vintage and almost antique things in it. For example, books that were more than 50 or 70 years old. There were even several books from the 1920s. Series left from ancestors. A silver coaster that Angela's dad gave her. It was a family heirloom. Vases, candlesticks, restored pieces of furniture. All this was so nice to the young lady of the house. There were many books in Angela's room, the lion's share of which the girl bought herself. Her own library had more than 700 copies. The bookshelves were bursting with books. Most of it was classical literature, and Angela's collection included several dozen modern books. Of all of them were chosen by her independently. His, this girl, this girl from the age of 12 independently chose literature to read, saving the money that her mother gave her at school and working as a tutor with elementary school students. The girl slowly collected her book collection, and it was her treasure. She bought most of them at a vintage store near her school. You could buy a great book there for ridiculous money. Angela was glad that she could buy books at an affordable price even for a school girl. The girl often went to raids in second-hand stores and looked for books herself. You can find good literature and even in a foreign language in seconds. So the girl had several dozen books in the languages she planned to learn in the future. Besides, there was a modern vinyl record player in Angela's room, birthday present, and lots of vinyl records. Most of the vinyl collection consists of gifts from her father. The collection includes more than 200 vintage records for several dozen more modern ones and she bought herself. The walls were decorated with the collage of images of rock stars seen from movies, TV shows, her own drawings and quotes from songs. All this was bright and colorful. Angela also had a collection of tarot cards and oracles. They were more than fishing decks. They were kept in her drawer. Entering the house, Angela immediately felt the warmth. Although the boiler was working at a minimum, it was pleasant to be in the house, such a bright contrast with what she felt outside. Among those who were waiting for Angela Marienko at home was not only a black cat Yaroполk and an old German shepherd dog named Vulcan, and there were three house devils and other spirits of the house. The main devil among Angela's servants was called Shiba. He was a gift from Satan. The second one, Saga gave her, was called Dragon. The student didn't know the name of the third home devil yet, but she knew it was a gift from Belial. These creatures were like well-trained fighting ducks. She learned the name of the first devil, Chiba, when Angela was 10 years old, a week after her birthday. The name of the second devil, Drago, she learned very recently sometime after her 10th birthday, when then she was graduated school and passed the exams. And a Satan told Angela the girl will learn the name of the third devil before the prince comes to her. The name is a key, Satan spoke to Angela once a long time ago. When she was a girl, she was given the name of her first servant. The name is the key. We have already given you many keys. You bore some of our names, and then you learn them all. You will be able to interact with us as a full-grown and a fulfilled witch. Remember that witches ask to the god and commands to the demons. This is the only way and no other way. You can already command your familiars who are your servants and they are already well trained. They serve your family for more than 1 century and they always serve the powerful witch of the family that is among the living. After your death, they will go to someone else, but in this meanwhile, use that you were given by birthright. All the all three devils looked about the same. The visual difference was minimal. They looked like gargoyles of on Notre Dame de Paris, a little more like big, ugly cats the size of a dog. They were different in character. Chiba was calm and balanced. He had an ability. Chiba, they were different in character. Chiba was calm and balanced. He had the ability to comprehensively and intently reflect on the tasks that stood before him. Chiba patronized the other two. Drago had a rebellious nature. He sometimes had to be calmed until you say, I command, in such a tone that does not tolerate appeals. He obeyed even every other time. And the third one, the youngest of all, and was often taught was what and how the first two. although usually it was not necessary. The third one was the most fun among her servants. They were usually black in color and had a short fur like the cane corso, but when there was some danger for Angela, or they were very emotional about something, argued for example with each other, they turned dark blue purple. They all had big, very wise green eyes, something like cats. They walk sometimes on two, sometimes on four legs. Ever since Satan told Angela that she could command these three devils, she sometimes did, but usually it was like a good cop style. In the morning when the student went out for classes, she mentally ordered the demons to stay at home to watch, so they didn't so they do not get confused under her feet when she is studying. The demons obeyed her as usual. And now when she returned home, not only the cat and the dog greeted her joyfully. The student washed her hands, fed the cat and the dog. She did it all this to the noisy complaints of the Domova and Dvorovy. Domova looked like a miniature old lady in peasant clothes of the 19th century. Dvorovy is like a little grey-bearded old man in the clothes of a peasant from a bygone era. The domová looked after the house, the Dvorovy over the yard, and his assistants, two gorgorushas. Dvorovy and domová were a couple, and for three generations of Angela's family, they served its residents in this house. Gorgorushas are spirits that help Dvorovy in his work. They have the appearance and size of kittens with horns. Their fur was black and long. It often happened they were indulged like little children. They broke up the dishes they in the house and hid a whisk or a broom in the yard, and the owners of the house clean all this up and look for the lost stuff. But in defense of these Gorgorushas, I may say that there was also benefit from them. It happened that they both lost money. For example, Angela put 20 or 50 hryvnias somewhere and forgot where. She searches and searches, and the Gorgorushas find them and put them in a prominent place. Since childhood, Angela has seen a couple, Domala Dvorovy and their assistants Gorgorushas. If Angela Marienko was familiar with the words Domova and Dvorovy, she met the word Gorgorusha at the age of 16 when she was reading a book about Slavic myth. Her eyes widened, then she realized who these black kittens with horn were. Until the moment when she found the term Gorgorusha in the book, Angela called these two crude and weird, because they were naughty, worse than spoiled little children. Can you imagine, Angela, what happened to you while you were away? Domova spoke loudly. Drago and the younger devil got into an argue and almost got into a fight. The Dvorovay kept up with his wife. I will consider them together with the Domova and the Dvorovay, Chiba said quietly and calmly. They almost destroyed the house. The domovar was outraged. One word: evil. Well, they didn't destroy it, Angela said in her mind, pouring Vulcan's food into a bowl. All of them, shouted the dwarf away, are necessary to expel. I already tried, said Domova, and you, by the way, Angela, know this. You say that, said the student mentally, if as if I am stronger than Satan. I had to accept his gifts, and the gifts of the other dark ones. Well, do something with them, Angela, the dwarf begged. You have known them for many years, said the girl in her mind. If Satan is to be believed, then they were been serving for family. They then they have been serving for my family for a long time. They lived in another house, your relatives, until she died, said Domova. Demons have been in this house for 20 Demons have been in this house for 12 years, even since you became even since you became the strongest witch of the kind among the living. Even since you became the strongest witch of the family among the living. Fine, Angela also continued in her mind. What do you offer? What and how the hell will I do? And in general, can I? Instead of an answer, there was silence. I thought so, said the girl already in her voice. All this dialogue took place while the young lady heated up the food and fed the cat and the dog. The domovoi and the dwarf took Marusha's three familiars of the young witch followed the girl and complained about each other, which assumed her generally. The first shadows of that pretended to be devilish novels watch all of this in silence. The atmosphere is like in a kindergarten, thought Angela entering the house. And do not say she begged it, following her. Then the girl took a bath, changed into a sports suit, had a little snack. She turned on the Nirvana vinyl which she was thinking about in the yard and get started to the homework. No one in their relatives was in the estate. Mother and stepfather were at work, so Angela could listen to music loudly despite the lateness of the time. Angela's older sister lived in Yerevan. Despite the distance, they kept in touch almost every day. The sound of rain mingled with the sound of music. It was already 11:30. A vinyl record was spinning in the record player. Drops of autumn rain were hitting the window glass. Drops of autumn rain were hitting the window glass. The band Morphine played their flowers tune while the Angela drank coffee with milk and spices according to her own invited recipe. The student called this drink pepper spray because it contained ground black and white peppers. Amber scented essence was slowly smoldering and candles were burning. The room was semi-dark. The young lady was going through notebooks with notes and doing her homework. She drank coffee with goodies. She decided not to drink wine. After some time, the record player played to the end, and Angela decided to play another one. She stopped her choice on a gift from her father, vinyl of Emerson, Lake and Powell, abbreviated ELP. It was a vintage record released in 1986 when Angela was not even born. Instead of finishing her high up, Angela began to work on her first novel. The student sat down at the table, opened her laptop, and started typing while the rain drummed against the window and ALP played rock music.